Hello, I'm Stephen Klein, and this is
Hi, I'm Paige.
Healthy Fit Club. And we're going to talk about the Healthy Fat Club again.
Is it the Healthy Fit Club?
So,
The Healthy Fat.
most of you know that there are good fats and there are bad fats, but there's a lot of data and scientific evidence coming out now that's proving that fats should be a significant portion of your diet and that they're good for you. Paige, fortunately, can share her viewpoints on that and talk a little bit about the different types of fats. So, Paige, what's the difference between a saturated fat, a polyunsaturated fat, and a monosaturated fat?
Well, it really has a lot to do with the chemical structure, but just to kind of keep it easy to see, I like to explain saturated fat as allow you to have a picture of a bus. Saturated means all the spots on the carbon chain are filled, so there's no empty spots on the bus. So that means that there's no room for a free radical to get in there and cause damage to the fat. One of the reasons that we know saturated fats have a longer shelf life, they don't turn rancid easily,
Right.
and they're not as susceptible to this free radical damage.
Or they're more likely to solidify at room temperature because they're more solid, right?
It's more saturated.
Yeah,
and
more
all the
saturated.
spots are fit. Right, that's a good way to
That
think of it.
makes sense, doesn't it?
The next one would be monosaturated fats, and we see the monos in a lot of tropical fruits like the avocado and the coconut, correct? And the nut, and some of the nuts, the nut fats. And the monosaturated fats will typically be liquid at room temperature, but may solidify in the refrigerator. That's a great way for you to test to see if the olive oil you have is truly olive oil and not a cheap imposter. If you buy an olive oil and you put it in the refrigerator and it doesn't become solid, I would be suspect of the source of that. We know there's a lot of stories about olive oil being a cheaper oil that they're having us get. And then finally, the third type of fat is the polyunsaturated fat, sometimes referred to as PUFAs. And PUFAs is a good way to remember it, are polyunsaturated, meaning there's a lot of spots that are unfilled, polyunsaturated.
Yep.
A lot of spots where these fats and oils can rancidify, have free radical damage, or be damaged in cooking. So we don't recommend typically. These would be your omega-3s, your fish oils, your omega-6s, your nut oils, and the worst ones for damage are the vegetable oils, the cottonseed oil, the corn oils, the soy oil, the oils that we would just prefer you not have in your diet at all.
Not to mention the way that those things are made and heated to insanely high temperatures, bleached in some cases. The processing of vegetable oils is just horrible. You wouldn't even put it in your body if you knew how it was made. But they're not healthy anyway. One of
my clients said, how will I know when I go in the grocery store which one of these oils is rancid? I said, when you look down that oil aisle and you see any oil in a clear bottle, it's already rancid before you've even opened it.
How about that point?
Yeah, the light destroys these oils. And you want to buy any oils that you want to buy them in dark bottles, and you want to store them in dark, cool places to give them a longer shelf life and keep them healthy. You buy them in smaller bottles, buy them more frequently. As soon as you open them up, the air allows oxygen to get in and oxidation happens. So buy smaller bottles, buy the more expensive ones, they'll be higher quality.
So even when people hear lard or tallow being bad, they're not, right?
They're not. And these were what our grandmothers used to cook with. They didn't have all these, 2 aisles at the grocery store full of clear bottled rancid oils. And so lard is the leftover drippings and fats from hogs and pigs. Tallow comes from beef. And these are wonderful fats that you can harvest off your own cooking. Perhaps if you make a bone broth, you can skim the top after you put it in the refrigerator and save that fat that goes to the top. Use it for your next cooking experience. We've got a lot of companies now that you can buy them at your local healthy grocery store.
And these are, you hit the big point there, as long as it's from grass-fed beef or from pigs that are roaming free and supplemented with a healthy diet where they may not forage for all their food. But that's it.
And that's a really great point, Stephen, because see, when we take, say, a beef tallow or beef from a cow that's been fed genetically modified soy and corn then what are they getting? They're getting those polyunsaturated oils. So their natural meat will not be of the right consistency, or their fats will not be at that higher level of good monosaturated fats and saturated fats. So that is something we want to be careful of. That's why we want to eat animal foods that come from animals that eat what their natural diet was.
Because you're not only what you eat, but you are what your food eats. So lastly, what are some of the benefits? You talked about cell membranes and things like that. To the reason why you want healthy fat in your diet is...
Saturated fats are part of the building blocks of health. Our saturated fats are what we use to help build part of our membrane. Our membranes are really bilipid layers, and part of it's liquid and a thinner type of oil, maybe some of the polyunsaturated, the omega-3s that you hear about, and then other parts are actually add structural integrity through healthy saturated fats. The other thing is our saturated fats are really the basis of some of our cholesterol, and cholesterol is the building block of hormones. So when people are concerned about maintaining good hormone integrity, and we know that hormone integrity is important for all of our body functions, it's really important that we get good, healthy saturated fat in our diet.
There you go. The Healthy Fat Club. Eat healthy fats.
And stay fit.
Optimal health.
Peak performance.